What if you were the only person in your crush's eyes? Tim is tired of being ignored by the most popular girl in school, so he wishes he and his crush to be the only two people in the universe. And what could possibly go wrong? Other than the crazy girl trying to saw him in half. This episode shows us how obsession actually works, and that the problem is not how the wish turned out, but the wish itself. It all begins with a school trip to the ice rink. Previously I said I don't know how to swing, and guess what I can't do either? Skating. Everyone is having fun in their way. AJ has training blades for his skates, but financially are more like Chester, who has none. Timmy eagerly hopes it will be the best skating day. However, suddenly someone announces that it's time to skate in couples, and anyone without a date will be considered a loser. Timmy and his friends are the only lonely ones. However, Chester pulls up a Uno reverse card, takes his emergency kit, puts on a weekend skirt, which he had underwear somehow, and now he's a shorty, and leaves with AJ. Timmy doesn't know what to do. Cosmo basically just tells him to feel the humiliation, but Wanda points out that Trixie is also alone. Trixie, the girl Timmy has always been in love with, but she barely knows he exists. If you've seen more than one episode of the Fairly OddParents, you know that she's not simply a girl he likes. She's almost a symbol of status, validation, and a fantasy. Timmy says that he's always been rejected by her, but maybe this time will be different. He rushes full speed to talk to her, but she is immediately surrounded by several boys. Chester tells him that the only way Trixie will pick him is if he was the only boy in the whole school. AJ, for his part, seems to be enjoying his hands a little too much, as Chester is forced to tell him this.
Hey! Wash your hands!
Tim is tired of everything and makes his first wish. He wants to be the only boy in school. One that warns him seriously to be careful. Being alone with someone for a long time can get annoying if he's not the right person. Cosmo takes this very personally. He thinks he doesn't love him anymore, and we should pay attention to the dynamics of these two in this episode, as they also teach us another side of the coin of toxic relationships, obsession, and well, being alone for a long time with the right or wrong person. Seeing the amount of boys and even aliens that compete for her attention, instead of accepting reality, Timmy does what he always does. He tries to bend the world to his will with magic. He doesn't really want to take the effort of what it takes to make someone like her fall in love with him. He wants to eliminate everyone who could compete against him, which really, if we look at it, is the most possessive thing you can wish for. It's this desperate desire of wanting to be chosen, but the cowardice of not facing potential rivals, or even worse, simply a rejection.
Now that I'm the only boy in school, Trixie will have no choice but to spend time with me!
This possessive desire will be reflected back at him. But for now, Timmy becomes the only boy in school. Even Chester with a wig disappeared, because even the show knows they are only too generous. Since his wish wasn't specific, a French boy who doesn't study there invites Trixie first. Then we see Cosmo clinging way too hard over Wanda. She tells the little boy to be more specific, so now he wants to be the only boy in the world. Now motivated, he tries again, but a literal alien with waving tentacles beats him to it. Reality finds another way to show him that the problem is not other people, but him. It's his insecurity and his need to control the situation, to try to force a connection that doesn't exist. I'm telling you, this is what is preventing you to get any push. Here the episode plays with something very curious, something that if you are in Tim's situation can sound harsh and unpleasant, and trust me, I know, we all been there. But the idea is that when someone is obsessed, as we can see Timmy here making wish after wish, he's confused in having an opportunity with having a right. Timmy doesn't wonder if Trixie wants to be with him. In his tunnel vision, he's only focused on how he can make it so she has no other choice. After all his previous attempts failed, he has to refine his wish a little more. Unlike if he's creating a very specific prompt from ChatGPT to don't be done and to do what it's supposed to, he refines his prompt, which basically says, I wish Trixie and I were the only two humans and or intelligent life forms on Earth besides my fairy godparents, and Trixie didn't question why. Whew. I'm sure such a specific wish won't have any consequences whatsoever, right? Now they are completely alone, but what seemed like a dream will soon be a nightmare. But before we continue, as you might have noticed, it's been almost a year since the last time I've uploaded something. I don't want to bore you with personal and financial struggles, but one thing I've been doing a lot is music. Even before I was making YouTube videos, I was making beats, since, well, music has always been a passion of mine. Lately I've been more focused on becoming an artist. However, I'm still trying to find my sound. I've been experimenting with different genres. If you follow the channel for a while, you know I've never asked you to buy anything from me or any sponsor or shit like that. But this time I would just want you to take a listen. This is really important to me, so I would appreciate it if you just take a listen, see if you like it. If not, it's fine. I'm still trying to get better each time. The ones I consider my best songs are not even out yet. I'm just posting songs slowly, trying to get better each time. For now, the ones I cannot release are only on YouTube or Soundcloud, because for Spotify you need money for licensing stuff. And I wasn't lying when I say Chester and I are equally broke. But yeah, the links will be in the description. Thank you. The earth is completely empty. Trixie is terrified, wonder who will worship her now that there is no one left. Timmy offers to do it, and that comforts her. Something in her gaze is concerning. You know, like a growing madness in her eyes. But who really knows? We all know women are impossible to read. She asks him to adore her, and Timmy, as a gentleman, tells her she's pretty. You know, so the spirits run high after he basically made her family and everyone important to her disappear. But the fun starts here as they drive cars inside the school. Their horns guarantee she receives her necessary quota of validation, and then they make noise in the library. Again, she demands to be called pretty, and Tim is starting to notice something's off, but decides to go on, so they head to the mall, where she tries on several shoes. She claims to be happy and that they were meant to be together. Wanda warns him to wish the wish before someone ends up completely crazy. Cosmo's still emotional, thinks he's talking about him. Maybe he should wish Wanda and him were the only fairies in the universe. I'm sure that will fix his insecurities. Shorty calls him, asking where he was, and why wasn't he adore her in the last sentence, with a very unhinged face. Later he goes to take a dump, and the episode says 2 hours later, which indicates to us that Timmy suffers from constipation. He should definitely watch his fiber intake. Trixie, all crazy, not worried about his man gastrointestinal issues, but rather what hoe is in there. He goes to the electronic section, but she controls the screens. He hides in the soup section, where the crazy bitch is looking for him, with a bat, which she uses to attack a mannequin of a girl, you know, to get rid of the competition. Let's talk for a second of the obsession Timmy felt for Trixie before the wish, and how his view of love reflected back at him. For that, we need to look at the term limerence, which is an involuntary mental state of obsessive attraction to a person under the overwhelming need to be reciprocated. We see this in Timmy at first, and now even in this crazy Trixie. Obsession can only happen when someone is unavailable to us. Realistically, Timmy only knew about 5% of the real Trixie. He had no idea of how attention desperate she was, and even though we'd seen that side of her in other episodes, the idealization of Timmy had of her, putting her on a pedestal, made him ignore that she is a troubled person with her own problems and will. Timmy was just obsessed with the version of her he created in his mind, because he couldn't get to know her in reality, longing for someone that doesn't exist, the idea and the fantasy of what could be if she was available to him. Notice how the obsession fades away once he gets that person. This might have happened to you before, which you might not be obsessed with them, but the space, the gap between you and them. This will be shown with a little storyline of Cosmo and Wanda that resolves a little later. Tim is running from Trixie. Wanda laughs. She told him so. The girl is completely gone. Without hundreds of boys adoring her, wanting Timmy to adore her as much as hundreds of boys, he can't take it anymore. He thinks about unwishing the wish, but Cosmo, who finds Wanda alone with him, takes her away while screaming she's mine, because he's asserting himself as the confident, secure alpha male. Timmy hides in the car section, but even there she finds him. As a last act of desperation, he contemplates a single way out, to bite his arm and tear it off. Since Trixie questions him, there's only one choice to make: to break up with her. He says the typical "it's not me, it's you," but also has the balls to say that in reality it's actually her, too much of her. And I'm sure the cute, mentally stable girl can perfectly understand that. Well, not really. As she grabs a saw while shouts that if she can't have him, nobody can. For Trixie, we all know she not only enjoys being popular, she enjoys that constant validation. Timmy wanted the cutie patootie all to himself, and all that she needs in this moment is Timmy all for herself. Exactly what he wished for. If he feels overwhelmed and that is too much, it's because that's what he asked for. She becomes intense and demanding, but as I said before, this isn't something new. We've seen that in the past, which just goes to show that Timmy was never in love with Trixie as a whole person. He was in love with an image, you know, the pretty popular girl, the unattainable girl. I don't know about you, but I've seen that in myself, where sometimes we don't desire the actual person or the version of that person that I guess our mind invented or idolized. Timmy eliminated everyone to be the person she wanted, but in doing so, he also eliminated the context that made that person desirable. Trixie was special in part because she was popular. Everyone looked at her because she seemed unattainable. Without that world around her, her fantasy loses its luster because it just leaves a little insecure girl that needs constant validation and a personality that Timmy can barely relate to. I'm sure throughout this whole video, and even by the title, you've been thinking about the movie Obsession. This horror movie that is very popular right now, and which is pretty good actually, and it actually scared the shit out of me. This movie has a very similar plot as this episode. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's basically about a hopeless loser who magically wishes for his crush to fall in love with him, and what could possibly go wrong? With the very first scenes of the movie, we see that Bear, the protagonist, is a very lonely man, and Nikki, his crush, who only sees him as a friend, but has emotionally supported him and being there for him, like for example when his granny passed away. The movie shows us he sees Nikki as the salvation for his loneliness, his lack of purpose, and the complement of his romantic fantasies. He's obsessed with her, but he also doesn't know her very well. We see he idolizes her and doesn't look at her as this human being with her own complexities and problems. So when he makes the wish, this one reflected his skewed view of love. He wishes for Nikki to love him more than anything in the whole world. A love like he imagines is out of this world, and that's why a paranormal entity out of this world is the only thing that could fulfill this wish. But back to our little cute cartoon that won't scare me at night. Timmy is in trouble and he's in the garden section. Wanda appears and insists that he break the wish immediately, but Cosmo takes her away, complaining that everything is always about Timmy, even though his life is in danger. In the sports section, Timmy tries to calm Trixie down by calling her pretty, but it no longer works. He's already become a military target, and she's even attacking him with a war helicopter that you can find at your nearest Walmart because, well, America, I guess. She's about to Hiroshima in his ass, but luckily missiles are sold separately. Cosmo hides Wanda in the book section since he knows Timmy would never grab a book. But Wanda is fed up. She confronts him, telling him that they've been together for more than 10,000 years. If she wanted to leave, she would have done it already. She hugs him, giving some obsession back to him, and Cosmo suffocates and tells her that he needs his own space. And now he understands Timmy. Here the episode shows us what we've been talking. Obsession can only happen when someone is unavailable or distant to us. You're not obsessed with that person, but the space between you and them. Maybe you don't want the actual person. Perhaps you simply want them to want you, for them to choose you. Cosmo and Wanda go to the rescue as Tim is still fighting a crazy girl, which is about to saw him in half with a tactical helicopter. But I don't know, maybe that's just a little character flaw. Timmy should be more comprehensive. Anyways, Timmy undoes the wish, everyone is back on air, Trixie won't remember anything, so she won't talk shit about his ex in the WhatsApp group, and the alien is arrested by the FBI. Not for being an alien, but for hitting on a minor. The next day, everything is normal. Trix is getting the attention from all the nerds, and Tim is tired of couples at the moment. However, the science class needs to be done in couples, so Timmy takes Chester's wig and lives with AJ, which demands to be called pretty. Wanda believes that one day he will understand that the most important thing in a relationship is chemistry. Cosmo only wants to run, so this is all the wisdom I've released all over you for today. I appreciate if you leave a like, but even more if you give this song a listen. Who knows, maybe you'll witness the start of something great.